we're starting to talk about our creative subconscious and our subconscious, and how do we start to build some of these things, these habits, these attitudes, these beliefs, this self-efficacy. One of the things that we'll start talking about is this model for changing our lives. And so we'll start off talking about pictures. We said earlier that humans communicate best through pictures, even sign language. The whole concept is to pass a set of pictures or images or thoughts from one person to another. And so a picture is worth 1,000 words is where we kind of left off. And so the pictures that we have about ourselves, we might refer to as our self-image. What I find fascinating is when I was a young kid, they did a lot of work with us in elementary school to help us build our self-esteem. And so they gave us packets and worksheets that were designed to help us build our self-esteem. And I found this model. When I found this model, it really gave me a lot of information about what they were trying to do. And we'll see as I grow up if it was effective or not. But the picture that we hold of ourselves is referred to as our self-image. And the way we feel about ourselves, our emotions, is called our self-esteem. Self-esteem is how we feel about ourselves. And our self-esteem dictates our self-efficacy. And all of those impact our comfort zone. What we think we can do or think we can't do determines where we think we can go, where we feel comfortable, and where we can't go. So what are the words that we use? Those are called our self-talk. So oftentimes people talk, in these self-help books and all of these things, they talk about, thinking positive and being positive and fake it till you make it. I don't necessarily subscribe to those kinds of things, but I do understand this principle, that if I say certain things about myself, they become a part of my system of beliefs. They become a part of what I know to be true about myself. They become a part of my paradigms. They become a part of my routines. They get established as habits. They influence the power that I have to get things done for myself and for my family. And so words are extremely powerful because they create pictures, they create opportunities for us, they create possibilities for us. And so the words that I use, the self-talk, impacts my self-image, which impacts my self-esteem, which impacts my self-efficacy, which eventually impacts my comfort zone. Now, the interesting thing about comfort zones is that, this is funny, I remember going to a restaurant, and it was one of these new age kind of restaurants that have this funky, funky deco, Euro stuff to it, right? And so I go into the restroom, and I walk past the mirrors and the sinks and stuff. And they have two doors. One is to get into the restroom. The other one is to get into to the urinals and that kind of stuff. So I'm in there, and I come out, and I go to the wash basin, and I'm washing my hands, and I look up, and I see a woman, not me. this was one of those kind of Art Deco-y kinds of places that had a shared facility where people wash their hands. There's no wall between the male and the female. And all of a sudden, when I looked up and saw this woman, I freaked out because I said, I am in the wrong place and I gotta get out of here. All right, that's what I said. I gotta get out of here. The funny thing about your comfort zones, particularly if you build things, your comfort zones don't have a whole lot to do with your abilities. They have more to do with what you think your abilities are, where you think that you can fit in, right? I don't know if you've ever been in the wrong restroom, if you've gone into the wrong apartment building or the wrong house because they all look so similar or the same. But when you go into that wrong place, that place that you're not supposed to be in, what is the first thing that your mind says? It says, get out of here and get back to where you belong. Get back in your comfort zone. Get back to what you know best. Get back to how you used to be, because you know that's comfortable. And so do I really have the ability to use either of the restrooms? Do I have the ability to use the men's restroom or to use the women's restroom? I have that ability. I can use either one of those. However, that's not what I'm supposed to do because I don't feel comfortable there. Society says I'm not comfortable in the women's restroom. So I say to myself, I got to get out of here and get back to where I belong. And so when we have the self-talk and the self-image and the self-esteem, and it impacts our self-efficacy as far as our comfort zone goes, our comfort zone expands and contracts to our self-talk. All right? It expands and contracts based on our self-talk, on what we think of ourselves or what we say to ourselves about our current situation. Right? So we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. So words create pictures. Self-talk creates our self-image, our self-esteem, impacts our self-efficacy, and ultimately determines where and what we can do based on our comfort zone. All right? So we'll delve deeper into this in just a bit, and I will see you in a couple of minutes. Thanks.